Picture this: a world where comic books aren't just for kids. They're sparking real conversations about life, mythology, and the messy side of being human, especially among college students in the swinging 60s. But here's where it gets controversial. Could these timeless tales still resonate today, or have they been overhauled beyond recognition? Dive in as we explore how Amazing Spider-Man revives the bold promise of those groundbreaking comics while adding a fresh modern twist that might just redefine heroism for a new generation. Back in September 1966, Esquire magazine shed light on Marvel Comics' unexpected surge in popularity, particularly among young adults on college campuses. The piece shared a fascinating anecdote from Barry Pearl's transcription, highlighting a letter that captured the zeitgeist. An English teacher named William David Sherman from the State University of New York at Buffalo sent Marvel a $3 money order requesting 25 copies of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 46, titled Those Who Would Destroy Us. He planned to incorporate them into his contemporary American literature class, believing they'd help students uncover archetypal and mythological themes that mirror today's society. This wasn't just hype. Evidence showed that college kids were genuinely embracing these stories. Marvel's creator Stan Lee was no stranger to the spotlight. He was invited to speak at prestigious events, rubbing shoulders with luminaries like Hubert Humphrey, William Scranton, and Wayne Morse during lecture series at places like Princeton. At Bard College, he even drew a larger crowd than former President Eisenhower, a testament to his magnetic pull. Universities such as NYU and Columbia also hosted him, while over 50,000 college students across America joined the Merry Marvel Marching Societies, or MMM societies for short, sporting I Galong buttons on more than 100 campuses. These weren't just casual fan clubs, they represented a grassroots movement. Daily mail from over 225 colleges flooded Marvel's offices, and 24 disc jockeys proudly affiliated with the MMM societies kept the buzz alive on air. By fall, at least 25 TV stations would broadcast animated Marvel cartoons, amplifying the excitement. Even merchandise sales told the story. Marvel had moved 50,000 printed t-shirts and 30,000 sweatshirts, running out of adult sizes entirely. What fueled this frenzy? As one Ivy League student put it to Stan Lee, Marvel Comics embodied 20th century mythology, with Lee himself likened to Homer for crafting epic narratives. This phenomenon raised intriguing questions. Did the comics' impact on campuses reveal more about the stories themselves, or the cultural shifts in academia? The article teased a deeper insight on the following page, but let's unpack it here. And this is the part most people miss, the core gimmick that made Marvel stand out. Unlike typical superheroes who operated in a realm of pure fantasy, Marvel's characters grappled with relatable human struggles despite their extraordinary powers. Take Spider-Man, for example. In his civilian identity as college student Peter Parker, he's plagued by guilt, financial worries, social awkwardness, and the unfair blame for misfortunes he didn't cause. The Fantastic Four bickered constantly. Thor faced familial opposition to his love life, and the Hulk embodied total alienation. This blend of superpowers and everyday woes delivered with a playful, tongue-in-cheek style, think clever humor that requires more than basic reading skills to fully appreciate, was Marvel's secret sauce. For beginners, tongue-in-cheek means witty or ironic commentary that pokes fun at situations without taking itself too seriously. Consider a classic scene. Spider-Man battles the looter while dangling from a helium balloon high above the city. As the villain swings to attack, Spidey quips, "Have you ever thought about seeing a therapist for those antisocial vibes?" And follows up with, "Why do all my foes seem brimming with neurotic rage?" The looter, catching the absurdity, retorts, "You're insane, chattering like that mid-fight." Where else could you encounter such sharp, self-aware banter? Not in the more straightforward, less nuanced Brand X comics of the time, which lacked this layered wit. These examples draw from the 1963 to 1966 Spider-Man runs, crafted by Steve Ditko, John Romita, and Stan Lee, truly remarkable works that I've discussed extensively in places like my pieces on Peter Parker's personal life and the everyman appeal of those early stories. They were products of their era, expertly written for the 1960s audience, blending adventure with social commentary. But fast forward to today, and it's fascinating to see talented writers reimagine those original ideas in contemporary styles. Kurt Busiek excelled with Untold Tales of Spider-Man, exploring Spidey's high school days by fleshing out the world within the comic's pages. Now, J. Michael Straczynski is tackling Spider-Man's college years in Amazing Spider-Man Torn #1, illustrated by Per Perez, colored by Guru EFX, and lettered by Joe Caramagna. Set during Peter's university period, the story escalates when disaster strikes, introducing a terrifying new antagonist. How does Straczynski adapt the original concepts? Much like Busiek, he builds on the strengths of the 1960s tales, which were ahead of their time but limited by the era's storytelling norms. Back then, comics targeted a younger readership. So, while Amazing Spider-Man offered more emotional insight than competitors, it didn't delve as deeply into character psychology as modern works do. This isn't a knock on Ditko, Romita, or Lee. They were masters who could go profound if needed. But it reflects the stylistic choices of the period. In Untold Tales, Busiek enriched familiar plots by adding layers to Peter's classmates, getting them names, personalities, aspirations, and even tragedies, like one becoming a short-lived hero. Straczynski mirrors this approach in Torn, exploring Peter's college life in greater detail, such as his struggles with non-science subjects. Imagine juggling superhero duties with German homework. It's a logistical nightmare, and Peter's professor calls him out on perceived irresponsibility. For someone like Peter Parker, who's constantly shouldering immense burdens, this critique feels ironic. Yet it underscores his perpetual exhaustion from nocturnal heroics he can't openly explain. Straczynski's modern sensibility shines in edgier moments, too. Per Perez and Guru EFX deliver a gripping sequence where Spider-Man confronts terrorists, skipping his usual quips to prioritize a swift rescue, explaining that the hostages are already terrified enough. This adds a thoughtful human element to the action. And this is where it gets controversial. Do these deeper dives enhance the originals or dilute their raw era-specific charm? Straczynski also tackles group dynamics from the 1960s with fresh insight. While Per Perez excels in explosive fight scenes, his character-focused panels are equally compelling. We witness Peter, Harry Osborn, Gwen Stacy, and Mary Jane bonding at a casual beach outing, sharing dreams and vulnerabilities. This level of emotional exploration, probing each character's motivations, was rare in 1960s comics, which prioritized plot over introspection. Straczynski peels back layers we never saw before, creating a narrative that's both a homage to the classics and an evolution toward richer, more relatable stories. The result? A comic that honors the 1960s legacy while elevating it for today's readers, delivering a more profound experience that's pure delight. Oh, and there's a chilling demonic villain to boot, an inventive clash of old-school Spider-Man against a contemporary threat. Brilliantly designed by Per Perez, testing how the web-slinger adapts. So, what do you think? Is updating classic stories like this a brilliant modernization or an unnecessary redo that loses the original magic? Do you prefer the straightforward heroism of the 1960s or the layered depth of modern takes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with this approach? Or is there a counterpoint you've always championed? Let's discuss.